Hey there, 8th graders, and welcome to today's Explainer. We're jumping right in. Today we're taking a pretty fascinating journey back in time to look at industrialization and daily life. But look, we aren't just going to sit here and memorize a bunch of random dates and dusty old facts. I mean, where's the fun in that, right? Instead, we're going to learn how to actively map out history. We're going to take the massive, completely world-changing era of industrialization, and we're going to learn how to visualize it so it actually makes sense.
To really set the stage for our mission today, consider this powerful instruction from Habakkuk 2:2. It says, "Write down the revelation and make it plain so that a herald may run with it." I absolutely love this because it perfectly describes our goal for today's lesson. History can feel totally overwhelming sometimes, like this giant tangled web of events and people. But our job is to take all that complex history of human innovation and make it plain. We want to make it so incredibly clear and organized that anyone can grasp the message immediately and just run with that knowledge.
So here is our roadmap for today. First, the power of timelines. Second, steps to build your timeline. Third, connecting innovation and society. And fourth, morality, education, and you. Let's get to it.
Section 1. The power of timelines. Connecting the dots of history. Okay, let's dive into this. Why do we even bother drawing lines and plotting dates in the first place? Well, here's the big takeaway of our lesson today. Timelines are literally the ultimate tool to bring order to historical dates. They don't just tell us when something happened, they show us exactly how inventions deeply impact our everyday lives. Think about it. When you plot out the invention of the factory loom, and then right next to it you plot the sudden explosion of big cities where populations literally doubled in just a few years, you start to realize these aren't just isolated events. They're deeply, deeply connected. A timeline takes a scattered pile of puzzle pieces and turns it into a clear, beautiful picture of human progress.
It's also super fascinating to see how timelines highlight the sheer speed of progress. When you map things out, you quickly grasp which industrial changes happened almost overnight, completely turning society upside down, and which ones took decades to really unfold. You might see a huge gap of, say, 50 years where inventors were just kind of tinkering with steam power, and then, boom, in the span of a single decade, factories are just popping up everywhere. Mapping it out visually makes that pacing instantly clear to your brain.
Section 2. Steps to build your timeline, making it plain.
All right, so we know why timelines matter, but how do we actually make one? Let's get into the practical mechanics of building this thing. Building a great timeline really comes down to 3 essential steps. Step 1, identify key inventions. Basically, you comb through history and pick out the major milestones, the real game changers. Step 2, place in chronological order. Now, this is absolutely vital because chronological order reveals the true sequence of technological growth. I mean, you can't have a smartphone without first having a telephone, right? The sequence matters. And step 3, note impacts. You need to write down exactly how that specific invention changed work, family, or community life.
And this brilliantly illustrates what we're talking about. Let's actually trace a real path of innovation. Over in the 18th century, we have the steam engine, which completely revolutionized physical labor and transportation. Moving forward to the mid-19th century, the telegraph arrives. People actually called this the Victorian Internet because it allowed humans to communicate across vast oceans in minutes instead of months. Then, by the late 19th century, the electric light transforms how we live and work after the sun goes down. Laid out like this, that path, from physical power to instant communication to brilliant illumination, is just undeniable.
Moving on to Section 3, Connecting Innovation and Society, the domino effect.
So now that we know how to build a timeline, we need to shift our focus to what happens after it's built. When you step back and study a well-constructed timeline, 3 key insights always emerge. First, you clearly see the relationships between events. Second, you realize that every single new invention stands on the shoulders of past technologies. Industrial innovations almost always build upon earlier discoveries. And third, and this is perhaps the most important one, you see that social change is inevitably tied to technological change. It's like falling dominoes. When the technology of a society shifts, the way families live, the way people work, and the way communities function fundamentally changes right alongside it. Okay, let's pause right here for a quick knowledge check. I want you to test yourself right now. Based on what we've covered so far, what is the core purpose of a timeline? If you said something along the lines of connecting historical dots and making the complex clear, you totally nailed it. Here is your second check. Why is chronological order so important? So the crucial point here is that sequencing reveals cause and effect. It shows us how one single invention paves the way directly for the next. If we just jumble all the dates up, we lose that beautiful story of step-by-step progress. And question 3, how does innovation actually lead to social change? Picture the real-world impact for a second. Imagine how the electric light suddenly created family time in the evenings, or how the steam engine completely changed where people chose to build their towns and cities. You see, technology never just stays locked up in a laboratory. It always spills out into our neighborhoods. Finally, Section 4, Morality, Education, and You, the Ultimate Purpose. So, we've talked a lot about the what and the how of history, but now we really need to talk about the spiritual and moral why behind learning these skills. History shows us incredible feats of human engineering, for sure, but it also asks us to seriously consider our motives. 1 Corinthians 10:31 tells us, "Whatever you do, do it all for the glory of God." God gives us creativity, intellect, and the amazing skill to build and improve life for others. So as you study these great inventors, remember that true innovation shouldn't just be about seeking a quick profit. It's fundamentally about serving communities, lifting others up, and honoring the Creator through the work of our hands and minds.
And this brings us to a core philosophy here at the HeroesMart Academy Godly Learners series. Education without morality will hurt. Think about it. What is the actual point of being incredibly smart, highly educated, and capable of inventing new things if you use all that knowledge to make bad choices that exploit or hurt people? History is unfortunately full of brilliant inventions that were used for all the wrong reasons. A sharp mind without a moral compass, that's a really dangerous thing. True education must always be intertwined with biblical morality.
But hey, there is incredibly good news here. Romans 8:6-7 promises true peace of mind to everyone who keeps their mind spiritual. As you navigate your education and start analyzing these complex social changes, keeping your faith right alongside your academics is the true path to lasting peace. It gives your learning true purpose, and it keeps your heart totally grounded.
So, I want to leave you with this final thought today. As you look back at the brilliant inventors of the past who mapped our timeline of industrialization, I want you to ask yourself, how will you use your education and your creativity to honor the Creator and serve your community today? You are the next point on the timeline. Make it count. Thank you so much for hanging out with me in this explainer. Keep seeking wisdom, and I'll catch you next time.